Every year, crowds line up for the latest iPhone. What if I told you the most important product of the 21st century was born from a project that Apple's own engineers hated? It's true. Before the iPhone, Apple was working on a tablet, a big clunky thing. Steve Jobs saw the potential but decided to pivot. He wanted to put a computer in our pockets, not just on our desks. The idea was radical, the execution seemed impossible. The team was small, the pressure was immense. They were told to create something that would change everything. No pressure, right? Here's the wild part. The secret project was codenamed Project Purple. The engineers couldn't tell anyone, not even their families. They were building a device with a full-screen display, a screen you could touch. This was science fiction back then. Flip phones were king, keyboards were physical, but inside Apple's infinite loop, a revolution was brewing. They weren't just building a new phone, they were building a new kind of interaction, a new way to connect with technology itself. The team was split. One group wanted to reuse the iPod's click wheel. Imagine scrolling contacts with that wheel. It almost happened. Another team, led by Scott Forstall, pushed for multi-touch. This was the big gamble. Steve Jobs saw a demo of pinch to zoom on a prototype screen. He was sold. The click wheel phone was dead. The future was touch. That one decision set the next 2 decades of mobile tech. The stage was set. The year was 2007. The world was oblivious. People were happy with Nokias, Blackberries. They thought they had it all figured out. A phone for calling, maybe clunky web browsing. But Steve Jobs was about to walk on stage and redefine phone forever. He held up a device that looked like it was sent from the future. No buttons on the front, just a single sheet of glass, the iPhone, and the world was about to get a major upgrade. The first iPhone landed like a spaceship. It wasn't perfect, not by a long shot. It couldn't record video. It didn't have GPS for turn-by-turn directions. It ran on a slow second-generation network. Copy and paste? Forget about it. Many critics pointed out these flaws. They said it was a toy, not a serious tool. Competitors laughed. They thought their phones with physical keyboards were safe, they were comfortable, they were wrong. The iPhone wasn't about specs, it was about the experience. It was about how it felt in your hand. What made it magical was that screen. That 3.5-inch multi-touch display. You could pinch to zoom on a photo. It felt natural. You could flick to scroll through your music. It was intuitive. This was the why. This was the thing no one else had. It was like everyone was driving a horse and buggy and Apple just rolled up in a sports car. The engine wasn't the most powerful, but the ride was unlike anything else. It was pure, simple, fluid motion. As the world watched, the iPhone's glass screen shimmered under the stage lights. In that instant, something shifted. Not just in technology, but in how we all connect, work, and play. This was more than just a new gadget. It was a glimpse into the future. And hey, if you're enjoying this journey through tech history, hit the like button. Subscribe, we're just getting started. There's so much more to explore together, let's keep going. In July 2008, something even bigger than the iPhone 3G arrived. It wasn't hardware, it was a simple icon on the home screen. The App Store. At launch, it had just 500 apps. It seems small now, but back then, it was a revelation. Before this, getting software on your phone was a nightmare. You had to go through carriers. It was a closed, clunky system. Apple changed the rules. They opened the doors to developers everywhere. They said, if you can build it, you can sell it here. This was the iPhone's secret weapon. It wasn't just a phone anymore, it was a platform, a blank canvas. Suddenly, your phone could be anything you wanted it to be. It could be a game console, it could be a flashlight, it could be a musical instrument. It could be a tool for tracking your finances. It could be for learning a new language. The possibilities were endless. The famous tagline, "There's an app for that," wasn't just marketing. It was the literal truth. A whole new economy was born. The App Store created entire industries out of thin air. Think about it. Companies like Uber, Instagram, and TikTok wouldn't exist without it. They were built for the iPhone first. The app ecosystem became the ultimate lock-in. Even if a competitor released a phone with better hardware, switching meant leaving all your apps and data behind. It was a genius move. Apple didn't just build a phone. They built a world that lived inside your pocket. And everyone wanted to move in. The iPhone 4 was a masterpiece. It arrived in 2010 with a completely new design. Glass on the front, glass on the back, stainless steel band around the middle. It looked like a luxury watch. And that screen, Apple called it the Retina display. The pixels were so small you couldn't see them with the naked eye. Text and images were incredibly sharp. It was like seeing the internet for the first time, but in high definition. It made every other screen look blurry and dated. This was a huge leap. But the iPhone 4 also introduced something else. Something that felt like it was straight out of a spy movie. FaceTime. Video calling, right from your phone. It was built into the dialer. With one tap, you could see the person you were talking to. This was the stuff of science fiction dreams, made real and simple. It also introduced the first front-facing camera on an iPhone, which kicked off the selfie phenomenon. The iPhone wasn't just for looking at the world anymore, it was for showing the world who you are. A year later, the iPhone 4S arrived. It kept the same beautiful design but supercharged the insides. A new faster chip, a much improved 8-megapixel camera, but the headline feature was Siri, a voice assistant you could talk to. What's the weather like? Set an alarm for 7 a.m. Remind me to call mom. It was the first step toward a new way of interacting with our phones, not just with our fingers but with our voices. It wasn't perfect, but it was a glimpse into the future of ambient computing. For 5 generations, the iPhone had one screen size, 3.5 inches. Steve Jobs famously said it was the perfect size for one-handed use, but the market was changing. Competitors were releasing phones with massive screens. In 2012, Apple finally answered with the iPhone 5. It was taller, not wider. It stretched the screen to 4 inches. It allowed for an extra row of icons. It was incredibly thin and light. It felt almost weightless in your hand. The iPhone 5 also introduced the Lightning connector. This was a controversial move. It replaced the old 30-pin connector that everyone had cables for. People were mad. But it was a classic Apple decision. Look forward, not back. The new connector was smaller, reversible, much faster. It was the right move for the future, even if it caused some pain in the present. This phone represented a new era for Apple. It was the first iPhone released entirely after Steve Jobs' passing. The world was watching closely. Then came the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus in 2014. The 6 had a 4.7-inch screen. The 6 Plus was a massive 5.5 inches. They were impossibly thin, with curved edges that melted into your hand. The market exploded. It caused a supercycle of upgrades, the best-selling iPhone of all time. Touch ID arrived, a fingerprint sensor in the home button. It made unlocking seamless and secure. It also enabled Apple Pay. Your phone became a wallet, just a touch of your finger to pay for groceries. The iPhone 7 and 7 Plus marked another bold, controversial move. Apple removed the headphone jack. The internet went crazy. People called it user-hostile, but Apple called it courage. They wanted to push toward a wireless future. This decision paved the way for the success of AirPods. AirPods became a phenomenon in their own right. The iPhone 7 also made the phone water-resistant for the first time. You could finally drop your phone in the sink without having a heart attack. It was a practical, real-world improvement. But the real story of this generation was the camera. The iPhone 7 Plus introduced a dual-camera system, one wide lens, one telephoto lens. This allowed for true 2x optical zoom, but the magic was portrait mode. Using both cameras, the phone could create a depth map. It could intelligently blur the background, making your photos look like they were taken with a professional DSLR camera. This was computational photography at its finest. It changed mobile photography forever. Then, in 2017, Apple dropped a bombshell, the iPhone X, the 10. It was a celebration of the iPhone's 10th anniversary. They killed the home button, they got rid of Touch ID. The entire front was now a glorious edge-to-edge OLED screen. It was the biggest design change ever. To unlock it, you just looked at it. Face ID was born. Today we have the iPhone 17 family fresh off its announcement. The dynamic island, which started as a clever software trick on the 14 Pro, has evolved. It's more interactive, a central hub for live activities that feels more integrated than ever. The cameras, now powered by even more advanced computational photography, produce images that rival dedicated cinema gear from just a few years ago. And with the move to USB-C, the iPhone is finally playing nice with the rest of the tech world, a change many thought would never come. Looking back, the iPhone's success wasn't a single event. Hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive into the incredible evolution of the iPhone, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel for more awesome tech stories. Your support helps us bring you even more fascinating content. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update, and let us know in the comments, what's your favorite iPhone moment? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Smash that like, subscribe, follow us, subscribe for more.